Day 24, right? What do you do if you're going on vacation? To answer this question, it's going to be really dependent on the context of your trip, okay? How long are you traveling for? Where are you traveling to? And for what purpose are you going for, right? So obviously, if you're going for a work trip, maybe you're staying in a hotel, you have access to a gym, you're going to be able to be more dialed because you're on some sort of routine compared to if you're going on an actual holiday, right? And again, maybe it's going to be dependent on the phase that you're at and what you're trying to achieve, right? If, you still want to power through this vacation, is totally possible. It all comes down to your personal preference and you understanding the trade-offs of, basically the decisions and the approach that you're going to take. Okay, but I want to go through a couple of big kind of concepts and ideas that you can apply across the board, no matter what vacation or trip you're going on. Okay, so the first thing is to know yourself, right? And this comes down to tracking, training, all these different things, right? Know what kind of what's going to cause you anxiety. I mean, if at the end of the day the purpose of the trip is to help you relax and unwind, then maybe potentially not tracking every macro for that week might be helpful. Maybe it's something that you could transition to just tracking protein and calories, or just calories during that trip, or maybe not even tracking at all and doing a bit more of a mindful eating, intuitive eating approach during this 1 week. Okay, so that's going to be very dependent on you and your goals and what you're trying to achieve. Okay, the next thing is I think this is goes without saying, but focus on the fun. I think that sometimes when we get into coaching, maybe it's easy to just focus on the result all the time, but we still have our lives to live, right? And we want to reach that physique that we're after, but we don't want to do it while burning ourselves to the ground. So focus on having fun still during that trip that you're on, that vacation. And don't the point of the vacation is to enjoy yourself, so don't really stress too much about it. Okay, and the truth is that you stressing, stress is going to increase cortisol, which is going to increase your fat gain, so it doesn't really help. So again, just be present, enjoy the trip. Okay, the next thing is control what you can control, and just relax on the rest, right? There might be things that are out of your control, and that's fine. Control the things that are within your control. That's all that we ask and that you can possibly do. Okay, the next one, which I like, it's don't eat like an asshole, right? So just because you are on vacation and I just told you to enjoy yourself does not mean that you go out and you go freaking nuts, right? So don't eat like an asshole. Realize that there's still no way around this calorie thing, right? And again, if you're going to be overeating without walking, without doing all these things, you're likely going to come back with a lot more fat. So understand that and just be mindful, and be intentional, right? You don't need to overeat at every single meal just because you can, just because you're on holiday, right? So really, don't be an asshole to yourself, okay? The next thing is, when it comes to training overseas, right? Maybe you're staying in a hotel, maybe, Airbnb, whatever it is, right? Do your gym research before you go. That's really going to help you, just avoid going there and not knowing where to find the gym, right? Because you've already done the research, how far is it from the place you're staying, how do you get there, what is the cost and everything. And honestly, I feel that investment in a 3-day pass or 1 week pass, whatever, is really worth it because it helps you to stay on track. And it's that less than an hour of a workout that is really going to give you that energy boost that you need even during a vacation. If not, it's just going to be, eating and walking and eating, and it's just a bit tiring after a while. So really, that training might actually be helpful. Okay. Yep. So the next one is, kind of related to don't eat like an asshole, which is balance your calories. Again, I think it's still possible to be intentional. So a couple more things, right? So have a protein shake and make sure you actually pack your protein shake, maybe even a casein. I think that's helpful. So you can have that, either for breakfast if you're looking for a high protein option and there isn't any, or, you could, have that pre-bed. So that's also a good option. if you are traveling and you're going somewhere, there's usually like exotic fruits and like local fruits that are worth exploring, right? So what I like to do is go to the supermarket and basically buy a couple of like food options so that I'm making sure that I'm at least getting my protein intake and my fruit in on a daily basis. Another good thing that helps is also packing along your supplements, right? So honestly, the supplementation, it's going to be something that kind of kickstart your day, right? Again, with intentionality, and gives you that, that fresh start mindset that, like, okay, I'm starting today with a healthy choice, which is that high protein breakfast. I'm getting my supplements in. You're more likely to follow through the rest of your day, making better, healthier decisions than if you were to skip all these things and just go straight into your day, maybe eating breakfast out and all of those things. Okay, so just a couple of like things that are going to help. Beyond that, do your best to, if you can, avoid like heavily deep fried and oily foods. I don't think that much needs to be said here, but again, these are very caloric dense, and if you can, if it's not enjoyable, if it's you're just eating it for the sake of it, then potentially like avoid and stay away from them. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated. So just pack your water bottle, making sure that you're getting, the same amount of water that you were getting, back home. Okay. All of the rules around alcohol still apply, right? So when it comes to, how you would, fit that alcohol in, by actually potentially reducing carbs and fats throughout the day, avoiding sugary mixes, all these different things, avoiding like binge eating after, or even just eating, not just binge, eating after like having alcohol. All those things still apply. Definitely do them. And the last thing is, really stay active, move, right? Movement is going to be really helpful to minimize any potential fat gain that you have during the holiday. Okay, so I've given you quite a number of like tips and things to consider when you are going for your next vacation. But ultimately, it really comes down to knowing the context, knowing what you're willing to do, and again making that decisions and being okay with the trade-offs that you are having, if there are any, and the consequences of that decision. Okay, I think that that's going to put you in a position of like empowerment. So hopefully you can go ahead and apply some of these for your next trip.